Hi, I'm Hiten Samtani with The Real Deal. We have some exciting news today in the real estate tech space. Two of the biggest companies that deal with lease management, VTS and Hightower, just came together in a $300 million deal. So I'm here with Konrad Putzier to talk about it. Konrad, that is pretty big, right? I think the industry's been waiting for something like that to happen.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And if you just look at the numbers, you wouldn't think it's a big deal, right? $300 million by commercial real estate standards, that's not that big. But the reason everyone's very excited about this deal is the commercial real estate tech space has seen a ton of startups in recent years, right? There's been so many companies that came up with big plans, but there hasn't really been a big company that has come anywhere close to $1 billion valuation.
There was CoStar and LoopNet, but that's a long time ago.
Yeah, so those are old startups that were launched in like the 80s or in the 2000s. But of the recent wave, there hasn't really been a big startup. And the idea or the hope is that this company, by combining, is now going to maybe crack the $1 billion valuation mark, and that it might be a candidate for an IPO.
What do these companies do? So they talk about being a cloud-based lease portfolio management software. Yeah. What the hell does that mean?
So what they basically do is they allow landlords to manage their portfolio. They allow landlords to check in a single place who is leasing how much space, which leases are coming due, the state of repairs, and so forth. So it's basically a one-stop shop for people to manage their real estate properties. And they both offer something very similar, and that's probably one reason why this merger makes sense. So when you talk to people as to why they pick Hightower, why they pick VTS, you never really get a good answer, at least in my experience. People always kind of say, oh, I decided to go with VTS because I like the guys or because they approached me at the right time.
So much of the startup space is sales, right? I think VTS, what they did very well was initially get a lot of momentum and then push people saying, hey, we're the leading platform. We're the one who's going to be around in 5 years. A lot of these other companies are, fly-by-nighters. They're not going to be around. So you need to bet on something that's been proven and will be there in the long run.
Yeah, and people kind of say that VTS's strength maybe has been sales, like their ability to market themselves to landlords. Whereas Hightower is maybe a little bit better in the way they set up the platform, a little bit more better design. So I guess that kind of makes sense for both of them to merge because their strengths match.
And what does this mean for the larger real estate tech space? You had done a piece a few months ago in which you talked about there were a lot of companies that raised money very successfully in their Series A, Series B seed rounds, but then it didn't really go anywhere. After that, they lost a little momentum, or they didn't really become the huge sort of behemoths that they wanted to be.
Right, I think there's two big ways in which this merger can impact real estate. So the first one would be simply, if the optimistic predictions are right and if this company will reach a $1 billion valuation or an IPO, that would actually mean that we have the big unicorn that we've been waiting for, and that would simply just raise the profile of the commercial real estate tech space and attract new investors. So that's the first way. The second way in which I think it could have a big impact on the commercial real estate tech space is it could be the start of a merger wave. And people have been talking about this for a while. The space is just very fragmented. There's a ton of companies that often offer similar things, and they always vie for the very limited attention of a few executives at big real estate companies that are charged with technology.
Right. There's like a busy guy or girl in charge, and they're like, here's a budget that you have, and there's only so many companies. They're not going to talk to 100 companies.
Right. If you're like the one tech guy that's responsible for technology, the landlord, you get flooded with 100 pitches every day, and 50 of those pitches sound really similar. You don't know who's good. You have only so much attention, and that's tough for tech companies. So people have been saying for a while that there's going to be a merger wave, and this might be the beginning of it. It's possible. People have been telling me that they think VTS will be able to raise money much more easily now from investors. They'll be able to go out and buy other companies.
Right. One of the things that comes up with VCs is who else is doing what you're doing and why should I invest in you? So this takes away a serious competitor.
Yeah, they're basically the only company that offers what they do now, and that's a huge advantage for them. Right? They have a huge market to themselves now.
Right. And in terms of the space, where do you see it going in the next? Venture funding is dried up for a lot of these companies. So do you think M&A is the way forward, or do you think a lot of these are just going to die out organically as well?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a mixture of both, right? There's so many small companies that just have no way forward, they don't have enough money, that don't have anything that distinguishes them from the rest, they're just going to die. But the big question is how many of these companies will merge and how many of these companies will actually grow to a decent size simply by merging with others.
Right. We've anecdotally even, we've been getting less pitches, we've been getting less news of Series A and seed rounds, but I guess we'll be tracking the space for the months to come.